Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I apologize for being so late. I have time completely got away from me this morning. I wasn't exactly sure what we should cover, but Sable Phoenix has had recommended 13th Age, and this is one that gets talked about a lot, but I don't know anything about it. So I was like, okay, yes, let's look at this. So I went and got 13th Age to review or take a look at, do first impressions of this morning. But welcome everybody. So I'm sorry I'm here. And by the way, yes, I'm going audio only this morning because it's been a rough 2 days. So I am yes, dragging here today. And I'm not really suitable for camera this morning. So all right, I'm going audio only, but that's fine. We're going to take a look at 13th Age. We're going to have a great morning for a little while. Check out something new here. And see how we like it. So, hey, good morning, everybody. We got Better with Bacon here. I see BGD. Good morning. Sable Phoenix is here. Like I said, recommending this. Mike's here. Good morning, everybody. So, yes, here we go. Oh, Stray. Stray is here. And Stray just said, oh, no, gifted a membership. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, who got that? Let's see if I can go over here and find that out. Shell Mel. I remember Shell Mel. Welcome, Shell Mel. I'm not sure if Shell is in the comments or not, but thank you very much, Stray. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So, what's going on? Well, I sent out the update on the Kickstarter. I think that was Friday morning or something, but that's basically what we talked about on Wednesday as far as the Kickstarter update goes. I have got to figure out if they have approved my covers. I'm still working on that, and I have not been at the computer sitting down basically for the past 48 hours. So this afternoon, hopefully, we have gotten out of pre-media and they've accepted it. I was talking to technical support. I think there was actually some kind of technical problem with why my covers weren't being accepted after the first revision. I think. So I'm going to look back at that. We got people on that because I'm ready to be able to go ahead and order those. But that's basically what's going on there. And then I'm going to be working on that this afternoon. So let's go ahead and take a look at 13th Age. But first, let's do a breathe and sip. Let's take 2 deep breaths, deep inhales, complete exhales, and then take a sip of your favorite beverage this morning. So let's go. Let's breathe. And sip. Here we go. All right. There we go. 13th Age. Okay, so I don't know anything about this one. I have not looked at it before, so this is going to be the first time kind of looking through it here. Let's see. Okay, we've got introduction, chapter 1, icons, character rules. How are we going to look at this? Races. What do we get to? How to play? Classes. Combat rules. Running the game. Let's see. Monsters. Okay, there's a lot in here. This is 317 pages. Okay, do you have a recommendation for where we start? Stray? I mean, is this D20 based? I think it's D20 based. Let's take a look at okay, let's see what their introduction is. Well, and also I was seeing if they had like characters pre-made. Stray says, every time we breathe and sip, a fish gets its friend. Did you see? I posted in the Discord server that thing I swear I saw. There was an actual headline. There was something about somebody getting arrested, for taping a fish to an ATM. That must be some type of a ritual, some type of cult of Dagon's ritual for making money or something. So Stable says it's D20 based. Anyone familiar with D20 will find it immediately comfortable. I mean, I do see, okay, I see feats. Of course, we got classes, races. I mean, we see barbarian, bard, fighter, paladin, ranger, rogue. So what gets us to what makes this different? Let's go to its introduction. Let's just go to 10. Let's go to introduction. Okay. So introduction, starting 13th Age. We have targeted the game toward experienced game masters and players of all levels of role-playing experience. You can use this chapter summary as a guide to the rules. If you're puzzled about specific terms as you learn the game, you'll find that the index starting on page 309 doubles as a glossary. Okay, so 13th Age is an OGL D20 rolling game that's built to help the campaign generate good stories. As a 13th Age game master, use the icons and other story features presented in these rules to help drive the campaign. Yeah, and it makes me want to say Mike says taping a rubber fish to an ATM might be something someone might do in the cultist RPG as a ritual. It could definitely be in the RPG, and it also makes me want to bring that up in like the script form. We'll talk more about that later. I've been talking to Brianna, by the way, as far as she's making some changes in her life as well, as far as her direction goes, trying to get to making a film. She has somebody else that she's talking with and trying to help get things underway. So we might be talking more about that later. And I will be. So Sable says, I'd recommend just starting out the introduction, the basics about the icons. We don't have to go all over the icons necessarily. Then going to the how to play chapter, I think chapter 3. Okay, let's do that. It used to be that if you wanted to play a game that intentionally engaged the players at the level of character and story, you had to play a non-D20 game. Other games had vampire clans or heroic cults to connect the characters to the campaign. Other games defined dice rolling not merely simulation, but also drama. Other games gave GMs the tools to customize their campaigns. They gave players creative flexibility and dramatic authority. With 13th Age, you can play an OGL D20 rolling campaign that uses story-oriented tricks that other games have used for years. Okay, the role playing, and this is ROLL playing, the role playing. Once your character takes over driving the story by playing through their character's unique features, take advantage of the game's relative ease of generating adventure content. Take advantage of the game's relative ease of generating adventure content to give the player characters, the PCs, the confrontations their stories demand. To customize new challenges, traps, and skill check obstacles, use Chapter 6 Running the Game and its guidelines for setting difficulty targets at different levels as the PCs move between forgiving and unforgiving environments. 13th Age offers straightforward rules that make combat exciting and encounters balanced. The rules are designed to be a dramatic experience at the game table rather than an accurate simulation. Along these lines, a few character classes, including the Fighter, Bard, and Wizard, aim to capture the feel of what everyone knows these classes should be capable of via new mechanics. If you're new to the genre, you might not notice anything unusual about these characters. If you're an old hand with D20 rolling games, you'll want to take a look at the Fighter's flexible maneuvers that let you roll to hit first and then choose and narrate your attack. The Bard's Song and Ballads and the Wizard's spell improvisation abilities with the cantrip mastery and Vance's polysyllabic verbalization talents. What about role playing? What are the icons and how can they be used? Okay, so lots of fantasy campaigns have high druids. In 13th Age, she's an icon, one of the most powerful NPCs of the world. Chapter 1 includes the 13 icons of the game setting. So the icons are the NPCs, major NPCs. Chapter 2 explains how characters establish relationships with icons like the High Druid. In addition, we have described each icon in dramatic opposition to other icons, such as the Emperor and the Lich King. The dramatic tension among these icons defines the campaign. The icons also define the written setting, but more importantly, they help define events played out in your campaign. The world is in motion, driven by the icons. Icons work like the clans or factions in other role-playing games. They give characters real grounding in the setting and help bring the setting to life. Game Master. Use plots involving the icons or their agents to define story arcs within your campaign. Use your personal twists on the icons or even your invention of a new icon to make the game different from any other campaign. Players, use your past and potential relationships with icons to help craft a character with an immediate stake in the world and many juicy hooks for the GM to hang presents on. Okay, chapter overview. This is interesting. So it says, so the designers worked on 3E and 4E. How does this compare? Critics complain that 3E weighed the game down with rules for everything, turning an open-ended role-playing game into a complicated simulation arithmetic on a grid. 13th Age is a rules-light, free-form, gridless way to play a story-oriented campaign. 3E took the game forward in terms of player options and universal mechanics, and we have followed suit. Critics compared 4E to a board game or miniatures game that distanced itself from its roots. 13th Age is about story-oriented campaigns, not minis, and it revisits the roots of its setting with its setting and rules. 4E took the game forward in terms of balance and gameplay, and so do we. Okay, luckily, okay, so if your group won't switch to a new system, luckily you can port some of the best ideas from 13th Age to your own OGL campaign. one unique thing, icon relationships and background mechanics could be fit well with a typical campaign. The same goes for the campaign map, the icons, and the world descriptions. Increments, the escalation die, recoveries, and full heal ups are portable as well. Help yourselves. Okay, we need to check those out because that's okay. Things that are different. Increments, the escalation die, recoveries, and full heal ups. Okay, Sable says it's chapter 2 I'm thinking of. Okay. So naming our blessings. In the past, we've had a lot of fun designing D20 rolling games for the big corporation. Now I've had even more fun teaming up to create this game we wanted for ourselves. 13th Age is quicker than our earlier D20 rolling games. It's designed to play quite differently from one campaign to another. We hope both GMs and players will enjoy taking our new game and making it their own. Okay, so this is the icons. We'll take a look at what this is. We won't look at them all. Chapter 1, icons. Most D20 games have powerful NPCs who shape the world behind the scenes. 13th Age brings them forward, making these 13 powerful NPCs into icons. The PCs will aid or oppose over the course of each campaign. These are things like the Archmage. Okay, Archmage, Crusader, Diabolus, the Dwarf King, the Elf Queen, the Emperor, the Three, the Prince of Shadows, the Priestess, the Orc Lord. So the Orc Lord says is a figure of legend. The last time he walked the land, the Lich King fell, in part because of the Orc Lord's attack. Who will fall before his hordes this time? Who won't? Or it says, okay, the Crusader is the armored fist of the dark gods. So long as the followers of the gods of light stay the hell out of his way, the Crusader turns his wrath against the demons that would destroy the world if his own gods want to rule. Follow the Crusader if you must win at any cost. Okay, the Elf Queen rules the court of stars, the one place where wood elves, dark elves, and high elves come together as peers and allies instead of rivals or enemies. Honed by centuries of experience, the Queen's innate magic at least equals the Archmage's spells. So for the Archmage, for instance, it gives us usual location, common knowledge, adventurers, and the icon. Okay, so it says, many adventurers long to be hired into the Archmage's service. His wizards provide powerful arcane support, and they reward adventurers well, but the Archmage's missions are notoriously obscure. Instead of killing monsters or rescuing damsels, adventurers hired by Imperial wizards may find themselves bearing ritual items or wastelands or painting sigils on the walls of ruins. Somehow, it's all very important to the Empire. The less known truth is the Archmage is losing his handle on the multitude of tasks he's taken responsibility for and is forced to trust more and more missions to adventurers and agents while he struggles to deal with the high arcana that only he can survive. The true danger, everything will be all right provided that no catastrophe brings down the Archmage's power nodes and plunges the Empire into a maelstrom of rampant elementals, natural forces, monsters from the Iron Sea, and demons from the Abyss. So that we don't have character sheets here. So so being story driven, I guess that's the idea that these are the characters that are going to drive the story. When I grow up, I'm gonna Beanal Con? I don't know that. Okay, yes. Sable says chapter 2, then 5. Okay. Okay, let's go. Let's see if I can find. Let's go to chapter 2 then. So the chapter 1 is these icons. Chapter 2 is okay. Character rules. Character creation overview. Many elements of character creation in 13th Age will be familiar to D20 players. 13th Age's additions to the D20 heritage include the following new ideas. Ability scores. Oh, okay. Oh, straight. I meant be an icon. When I grow up, I'm going to be an icon. I gotcha. No. That makes sense now. Yes, let's be an icon. Ability scores. Okay, so Ability score bonuses come from both race and class, so you can mix up any race with any class and still have a viable character. Instead of choosing specific skills, you put points into broad backgrounds that can be used to assist in a variety of skill checks. Character creation involves indie game style elements such as inventing one unique thing about your character and orienting PCs around relationships with the most powerful NPCs in the world, the demigod-like icons. Okay, checklist for character creation. Game master input, races. Races work like normal, except that you have an option as to which ability gets your racial bonus. Class. Every class gets special powers that it can use, but the classes play very differently from each other. Your class gives a bonus to your primary or secondary ability, a different ability from your racial bonus. Choose your class's talents, and then select your first level powers and spells, which might be at will, recharge, or daily. Generate abilities. Many groups think that rolling character ability scores is fun. Other groups that are more concerned about fairness prefer the use of a standard D20 point buy system with 28 points. Both methods work. We think that either method is fine, and we're okay with letting the player choose. Combat stats. Use powers, abilities, and base stats by class to calculate basic attack bonus and damage, power spell attack bonuses and damage, armor class, physical defense, mental defense, hit points, and initiative. One unique thing, an icon relationship. Background. Your character has at least 8 background points. Use them to define your character further. A first level feat and then gear. Okay, it says, hey players, you know how GMs are. They like to think they're in charge, but be sure to let your GM talk about what's special and unique about their world and how they're going to run the campaign. The more details you get from the GM, the more you're able to get away with when you create your character. Hey, Doc Flamingo, good morning. So we've got races here: human, dwarf, dark elf, drow, high elf, wood elf, gnome, half elf, halfling, and half orc. You get a +2 racial bonus to one of the 2 or more ability scores associated with your race. The bonuses can't be applied to the same ability score that you choose for your class bonus. You also get racial features based on your race. Choose class. Very classic D&D here. Barbarian, bard, cleric, fighter, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, and wizard. You gain a +2 class bonus to one of the 2 or more ability scores associated with your class. The bonus can't be applied to the same ability score you chose for your racial bonus. We're not doing multi-class in this book, it says. Generate your ability scores, point by, or rolling. Combat stats. See chapter 5 for how combat works. Okay, first level hit points. Find the base value for your class, 6, 7, or 8. Add con modifier. Multiply hit point value by 3 to get your hit point total. Oh, we're going to have a lot of hit points here. So find the base value for your class in the base class, add your con modifier, and then multiply your hit point value by 3 to get your total hit points at first level. Armor class, find the base AC value for your class, 10 to 16 in the base stats for the classes. Find the middle value among your con modifier, dex modifier, and wisdom modifier. That's your AC modifier. Add the AC modifier to your base AC value. Add +1 at first level and increase by +1 for each additional class level. So it says, for example, a character with con of 10, modifier +0, dex of 15, modifier +2, and wisdom 14, modifier +2, has a middle value of +2. In all, in the 3 abilities that determine AC, their AC modifier is +2. Okay, we've got physical defense. Okay, we got a lot here. So find the base physical defense for your class. So we got armor. So that's armor class. We got armor class. This is physical defense. Find the base physical defense for your class. 10 to 12. Find the middle value of strength, con, and dex. That's your PD, physical defense modifier. Add the physical defense modifier to your base PD. Add +1 at first level. And increase by 1 at each additional level. We also have mental defense. Find the base mental defense for your class. Find the middle value among your int, wisdom, and charisma. That's your mental defense modifier. Okay, add that and then +1 and +1 per level. Initiative. Add +1 at first level. So start this dex modifier. Okay. Recoveries and recovery dice. So has anyone played this one besides Sable? Recoveries and is this the one that you game master, Sable? Recoveries and recovery dice. Most characters start the game with 8 recoveries. See chapter 5 for how this works. Some classes and talent choices may give you more recoveries. Each class also has a different recovery die, usually a D6, D8, D10, as specified in the class write-up. When you roll a recovery, you'll roll a number of recovery dice equal to your level and add the constant. Oh, no, Sable says it has not DM'd it. Attacks and powers. One unique thing about your character. Unique thing examples. Game Master says if players don't want to come up with one unique thing right away, or if they want to give the game a chance to develop, it's fine to let some players feel their way into what's unique about their characters after the first or second session. This delay may come in especially handy if a player wants to figure out what the tone of the campaign is before the setting of their big secret or special feature. So notes from designers here. One unique thing, icon relationships, then go to chapter 5. Okay, let's do it. So as far as this goes, this is notes from the designers here. More than Jonathan, I sometimes push players to come up with ways that their characters are truly unique. Only one person in the world has this particular story. Obviously, I enjoy games that push into new territory right away, but I also run a lot of demo games where you have only a couple of hours to get to the core of what's cool about the character in the game. When I have an entire campaign, I'm happier starting calm and building into something greater, if that's what's appropriate to the character's story. Also, we say I don't need the character's uniques to be wild and crazy. The story works out fine when the one unique thing is something as prosaic as I'm incredibly good looking and I get treated a lot better than I probably should because I'm so good looking. Of course, I'm fine with far out unique things like human child of a zombie mother we'll talk about in a few paragraphs. But in my games, the important thing is the player invents something that interests them and their character that's different from any of the other player characters. So I'm the only halfling knight in the dragon of the Dragon Emperor. I'm the only acrobat who performed their way out of the Diabolist's circle of hell. I'm the only human child of a zombie mother. So this is the type of big picture unique that a GM can hang their entire campaign on. And Jonathan did for a while, since the prophecies concerning this character seem to be forcing at least 3 of the villainous icons to accelerate their timetables of destructions. Yeah, let me go to page 31 then. So your unique thing. Each character should have one unique feature you invent for him or her when you create the character. Your one unique thing is an unusual trait that sets your character apart from every other hero. The moment that all the players sit down together with the GM to create their character's one unique thing is often the moment where the campaign comes to life. The intent is not to create a new ability or power that will help you in combat. Your character class already comes loaded with firepower and combat moves. The intent is to hint at the unique story that you and the GM will take advantage of and learn more about during the course of the campaign. Good one things, uniques, frequently provide clues as to how your character engages with people, places, and things of the game world. Sometimes good uniques drip with obvious story hooks that for you and the GM. Other times they're a promise of mystery to be unfolded later. Like, I see dead people. I'm the only human to be called into the dwarven priesthood ever. No combat bonuses or combat powers. To repeat, a unique feature shouldn't provide general practical value in combat. Story effects are great. You can hint at some type of power. Suggested backgrounds and icon relationships. Quite often, the one unique thing will suggest backgrounds and icon relationships that you'll be choosing in the next stage of character creation. That's fine. It makes perfect sense for a character who is unique, is that they are a bastard child of the emperor, to have an icon relationship with the emperor or some type of background related to their history around the imperial court. Okay. Icon relationships. Okay, so here we go with these. Let's go here. Stray says, I'm going to play Boars. Everyone can sit back and enjoy the snacks. I got this. You saw, I have another. There was an Boars made an appearance again. Did you see that, Stray, on the Tales of Rabavania channel? I didn't get to upload a short yesterday or for the past 2 days because I was gone past 48 hours, basically. So I need to work on another short today. We have 13 Rabavania shorts. And Boars was talking about the most important quality of knighthood. We have him with the axe, but I also have him talking to the Baron about the most important quality of knighthood. And I have been enjoying that series. The icon relationships. Inventing your character's relationships to the mighty icons who shape or rule the world is key to engaging with your character in the game world. RPGs about vampires have clans. RPGs about pagan Highlanders have cults. And the 13th Age has icons. If you haven't already, scan over the icons in Chapter 1 and read the full entry on any icon that intrigues you. As you decide the relationships to the icon that suits your player character, remember that it's the nature of the magic world that even the most powerful figures need a lot of help to accomplish their goals. The icons have risen to power levels where they balance each other in uneasy equilibrium. To advance their agendas further, the icons need heroes and champions to tip the balance to their favor. You should feel free to make your characters central to big plot lines if that's what suits you. The fate of the icons is written in the stars. Your character's fate is in your own hands. So at first level, each character gets 3 relationship points. The number of points you spend on a relationship is a measure of its overall usefulness. Since the relationship mechanic lets you roll 1d6, so this does have mechanics to it, lets you roll 1d6 per point invested in a relationship when you're trying to leverage your connection to the icon. See, using your relationships on 179. The icon relationship master chart above summarizes the likely role-playing and story-oriented consequences of possible conflict, the consequences of positive, conflicted, or negative relationships with the heroic, ambiguous, or villainous icons. Our suggestion for which icons qualify as heroic, ambiguous, and villainous appear below, which you'll see that we expect each GM to tinker with the icon's identity to suit the campaign story arcs and player character concepts. 13th Age assumes you're playing as heroes. If you want to run a game about becoming arch-villains, you'll probably want to flip the point maximum between heroic and villainous icons. So, icon relationship master chart. So this is icon, heroic icon, usually Archmage, Emperor, Great Gold Worm, and Priestess. Oh, good morning, Tomocrat. Good to see you. Possibly Dwarf King and Elf Queen. So you've got 3 points here. And okay, and your pick, let me just go back here. So you pick one of these. So you get 3 relationship points. And then we're going to spend the points on relationships. So I mean, I'm guessing, does that mean that okay, if you decide you want to have a negative relationship with the Archmage, you could spend 1 point. If you want to have a negative, and then you could also have a negative, or you could have a conflicted relationship with the Crusader, and then a positive relationship with the villainous Lich King for 1 point. Or you spend all 3 points to have a positive relationship with the High Druid, I guess. So that would be like a really positive relationship, I guess. Positive relationship, for instance, with the heroes, it says, as far as this icon is concerned, you're one of the good guys, a white hat hero. Authorities often help you, and civilians often trust you. On the downside, you may be called on to serve as representatives of the icon, even when you have other plans. You might be a target of villainous icons or a hero's icons rivals. Okay, so yes. So Sable says yes. So I am interpreting that correctly. Whereas if you have a positive, like, okay, well, what's a negative relationship with a villain? You are a special foe of this icon, perhaps because of your virtue or possibly for less happy motives. Your enmity wins your allies among right thinking people, but some of the villain's icon's forces are out to get in your way. Okay, rolling icon relationship dice. We'll cover the full rules for using the icon relationship dice starting on page 117 in the running the game chapter. For now, as a player, you need to know that you are called on to check your icon that when you're called on to check your icon relationships, you roll a single d6 for each point of relationship. You roll 1, 2, or 3, and possibly 4 at epic level 6-sided dice, the same number as the points that you spent on the relationship with that icon. Hope for 6s. If any die is a 6, you get some meaningful advantage from the relationship without having complications. If 2 or 3 dice come up as 6, that's even better. Look out for 5s. If any die is a 5, your connection to the icon is going to work out as well as a 6 would, but with some unexpected complication. If it's a good icon, you might be drawn into some obligation. If it's a villainous icon, you might attract unwanted attention. Rolling 5 and 6s, rolling 5s when you also rolled 6s should make life both interesting and advantageous. Why the D6? Yes, this is a D20 based game. Yes, most mechanics that matter use D20. By using D6s for relationship roles, we're singling them out. This is the moment when the story pivots on your possible connection to one of the beings who shape reality. Level, charisma, and a good head chakra. And a good head chakra item. None of that helps. Okay. So it says game master advice here. Sable says the more points you put into a relationship, the more often it will come up in your campaign and guide your character storyline. But what if I need to roll a check? So it says I'm rolling for 6s here to get a meaningful advantage from the relationship without complications. But I can put a point in like a negative relationship. That kind of sounds like the ones that are positive relationships. What do you do if you're rolling a negative relationship? I don't know. I guess that's probably in 176. Or maybe you're not called to roll these dice if you have a negative relationship like that. Tell you that the Lord of the Rings was written today? What? So it says some GMs work out how all the icons are going to play out in their campaign. These GMs figure out the motivations of each icon, especially the ambiguous ones, and offer guidance when players are choosing icon relationships so that player choices work out well for the scope of the campaign. Other GMs let the players take the first crack at the icons and build out their campaigns to suit what the players have in mind. These GMs are willing to work with a character's backstory that sounds far-fetched at first, adjusting the campaign background to incorporate elements of the player's backstories. We generally do a little pre-planning and offer guidance around the icon roles. followed by adjustments and retconning as the players create their uniques and backgrounds. Relationship points are about utility. The number of points you invest in a relationship with an icon doesn't necessarily correlate with the closeness of the connection or the strength of the relationship. It does correlate with the utility of the relationship. It's not necessarily about how well the icon knows you or how strong the icon feels about you. Instead, the points reflect the chance that your relationship will be helpful to you. We have a PC in one campaign who was a bastard son of the Dragon Emperor who spent a good deal of time in the presence of the icon in the court, but the relationship is only a 1-point relationship. The Emperor has lots of bastards in this campaign, and although the connection is often recognized, not everyone in the Emperor's service is keen on helping out yet another of the bastards. The Emperor's personal feelings about his son aren't the point. Therefore, you don't necessarily need to stick to the numerical strength of points when you getting into the hopefully atypical situation where the PCs are actually meeting and interacting with one of the icons. Storytelling and role-playing demands could take over, so you aren't forced to roll icon relationships in a situation where the actual icon is making a personal appearance. As GM, you could choose to roll the relationship or opt for the role-playing and let the PC stories-based history with the icon shape the interaction. To be clear, our games almost always treat the icons as off-stage characters, and we usually bring them in directly only at epic level. If you, as GM, want to bring the icon earlier to center stage, make sure the NPC doesn't steal the spotlight or from the player characters. We have information on changing relationships, rules and suggestions for using icon relationships. Go to page 179. Then we go to background points. Okay. Skill checks, D20 plus relevant modifier plus level plus the number of points in a relevant background versus the DC set by the environment. So D20 plus skill modifier, ability modifier plus level plus background. Let's go to chapter 5. Let's go up here and go to chapter 5. And chapter 5 is combat rules. Okay, combat summary. Hey Trey. We have not gotten to that yet. I haven't gotten to figure out what the escalation dice are yet. Oh, Sable says you are called to roll your relationship dice at the start of each session. That's the other AI thing that talks to me while I'm out of the house. Yeah, it's great to have you here again, Trey. Sable says 13th age is a heroic fantasy, big numbers and big rolls. Okay, so let's say, combat summary. Here is a summary of what each section of the combat section covers. Combat stats. Initiative bonuses, attack bonuses, damage and weapons, other damage types, defenses, hit points, speed, and stacking rules. Combat sequence, cyclic initiative, actions during a round, and using the escalation die. So we're getting to that here. Combat actions, types of actions, positioning on the battlefield, movement options during combat, and special movement. Special actions, fighting in spirit, fleeing the battle, and using recoveries to heal. Attacks, general attack rules, crits, fumbles, missed attacks, damage, flexible attacks, unarmed attacks, and 2 weapon fighting. Damage and healing, damage rules, recoveries, becoming staggered and falling unconscious, death and dying, death rules, death saves, and optional death rules. Rest and recharge, quick rests and full heal ups. Combat modifiers, the general rules, but don't worry about them. The general rules, but don't worry about them, it says. Shooting into melee and invisibility. Okay, well, let's just go on. So then special attacks and effects. Okay, so initiative bonus, we said was dexterity plus level. Got it. Okay, the attack bonus. For each attack, roll a d20 plus an ability bonus plus your level, plus magic item bonus, if any. So d20 plus ability bonus plus level. Depending on the attack, you might also get other bonuses. You compare your total to the target's defense, usually armor class, but sometimes physical defense or mental defense. If the total is equal to or higher than the defense, you hit. If you attack multiple targets, make multiple attack rolls. Your class, if you attack multiple targets, then make multiple attack rolls. Your class determines which ability bonus you use on attack rolls, so the attack defines the effect of a hit or a miss. Damage says, okay, so each attack indicates a specified amount of damage. It does. Subtract that amount from the target's hit points. We have, okay, so it's a specific, you're not rolling for it. It says a specified amount of damage. If the attack targets multiple enemies, you make a separate attack roll for each one. But, oh no, this says only roll damage once. So I guess I am rolling for damage. Heroes deal more damage with their attacks as they become more experienced and deadly. Most damage totals for the PC's attacks are calculated by adding one ability score modifier to the attack's damage roll, normally represented by saying plus ability. Don't add the raw ability score, instead add the ability modifier. Obtain D20 style by subtracting 10 from the ability score, then having that, and then rounding down. If we keep the ability score modifier to damage the same through your PC's career, the ability score contribution would soon become irrelevant. So the ability modifier portion of the damage increases based on PC level, like so. At 5th level, PCs double their ability score modifier to damage for all attacks. Yes, negative modifiers get worse. At 8th level, PCs add triple the ability score modifier. Spells indicate that a specific number of dice rolled for damage. Spells indicate a specific number of dice to roll for damage. Weapon attacks work differently. Different classes deal varying amounts of damage when they level up, also depending on whether or not they're using weapons or spells. So we have a little bit of like class-based damage here. So let's see. Weapons are rated by how much damage they deal. In the hands of a player character, each weapon deals 1 die of damage per character level plus ability modifier. That's why it was saying that your ability modifier would stop becoming relevant, because you're dealing 1 die of damage per character level, normally noted as weapon plus ability. So, for example, a 1st level fighter attacking with a longsword will deal 1d8 plus strength damage. At 4th level, they will deal 4d8 plus strength damage. At 7th level, attacking with a longsword will deal 7d8 plus 2 times the strength damage, since it's twice the modifier at 7th level. Each class has its own version of the weapon chart, showing how well members of the class use weapons of a given damage category. Distinctions between damage categories don't have to be rigid. With the GM's permission, there shouldn't be any problem saying the big spike club your barbarian uses counts as a 1d10 weapon, or the halfling fighter's oversized carving knife counts as a d8 longsword. If you feel we've misplaced a weapon or two, go with your sense of what's correct for medieval weaponry. The importance is that it feels right. Let's see. Rolling, dice rolling conventions. Other damage types. We've got different energy types: acid, cold, fire, force, holy, lightning, negative energy. Okay, defenses. There are 3 different types of defenses: armor class, physical defense, and mental defense. These use 3 ability scores as part of their calculations. PCs also add their class level to their defenses. Okay, we saw that earlier. Hit points based on class, constitution modifier, and level. The total of these stats are multiplied against a hit point factor that starts at 3 for first level and rises to 24 by 10th level. Speed, as is traditionally handled, is more tactical than the game needs. If it's important to know who covers ground faster, the GM can use common sense to make a ruling or use stats and skills to speed up a contest. A speed check could be as simple as a new initiative check to find out who moves first and fastest, or complex as an athletics check using dexterity versus a pathfinding check. It's up to the game master. Stacking rules. Where is our escalation die? Combat sequence, cyclical initiative or cyclic initiative. Okay, at the start of combat, each player rolls initiative for their character and the GM rolls for the opponents. Okay, cyclic initiative. Roll once. Each creature rolls to determine its initiative at the start of each turn in battle. D20 plus initiative bonus. Use those results to determine who goes first. As a rule, you'll want all monsters the same exact type to share the same initiative roll. In a battle against 5 gnome warriors, it's not worth rolling initiative for each separate warrior. But in a fight against 3 different types of gnolls who have different initiative bonuses, sure, roll initiative for each of the 3 types of monsters. Designer notes, as in my game, monsters win ties. Would you have special initiative actions like delay or ready? Oh, here is escalation die. Okay. Standard, move, and quick actions. Each turn you can take 1 standard each action in any order. Free actions. In general, you can take any number of free actions on a turn, as allowed by the game master. Creatures can also take free actions when it's not their turn. Make saves last. If you are subjected to an ongoing effect that requires a save, roll at the end of your turn. If you are taking ongoing damage, therefore, you take damage before you get a chance to end it. Okay, so here's this escalation die we were talking about. So here's the escalation die. As the characters fight in a battle, they build up momentum and tactical advantages that help them defeat their opponents. This bonus to attacks that increases this bonus to attacks that increases as the fight goes on is represented by the escalation die. So start at +1 on the second round. I think we may have talked about this when we're talking about improving AD&D combat. I think we may have looked at something like this. Start at +1 on the second round. At the start of the second round, the GM sets the escalation die at 1. Each PC gains a bonus to attack rolls equal to the current value on the escalation die. Oh, so that just says PCs. That doesn't say everybody. So this is just a PC thing. Increase +1 per round to +6. Each round, the escalation die advances by 1 to a maximum of 6. You might want to hold on to your biggest attacks until a couple of rounds into the battle, so you're more likely to hit with them. So yeah, that does seem like the consequence of this, that, oh, you want to wait later in the combat to get the highest escalation die. PCs only. As a rule, monsters and NPCs do not add the escalation die bonus to their attacks. A few of them do use the escalation die, but they are typically the ones you least want to be getting an attack bonus. Okay, de-escalation. The escalation die represents increasing momentum in battle. If the GM judges the characters are avoiding conflict rather than bringing the fight to the bad guys, the escalation die doesn't advance. If combat virtually ceases, the escalation die resets to 0. Some monsters might lower the escalation die when they appear or by using a power. Power triggers. Some character powers key off the escalation die, such as the skilled fighter attacks that only works when the escalation die is at 3+. Other powers and spells care whether the escalation die is even, 2, 4, or 6. That's right. 0, the escalation die adds nothing, nada, and doesn't count as even. So it says, Game Master, to keep track of the escalation die, use the biggest D6 you can find. The escalation die helps to speed combat to a close when it goes on longer than normal. Players really hate monsters or magical effects that temporarily suspend the advancement of the escalation die. If you don't like the escalation die, you can skip it, but then subtract 1 from all monster defenses. But really, who doesn't like the escalation die? If you can't find a 10-pound monster D6 like the one Rob uses, set the escalation die on top of an upturned cup or other small pedestal so everyone remembers to use it. Let's go down to positions. A creature's position amounts to 2 things: the creature's whereabouts and who is contending with it in melee. Each creature has a general position on the battlefield. Mostly you want to track relative position, like who's in the front rank, standing behind the paladin, or sneaking along a wall. We have nearby and behind. Nearby, all the heroes and their enemies in a battle are nearby. That means you can reach each other with a single move action. Sometimes, as an exception, heroes and enemies can be far away. Intercepting, far away. Movement and melee. Characters are engaged when they are in melee with foes. Usually you push the miniatures together to represent who's engaged with who. Grognards call it basing your foe because your miniatures base contacts theirs. I haven't ever heard of that, basing a foe. Sable says, I really like the escalation die. Yeah, I think we did talk about that. Must have been where we got it, or from, it may have been you, Sable, who was talking about that when we were talking about AD&D combat. So Trey says, when you use the escalation die, it turns up the drama and shortens combat. You lose a lot of people missing on bad rolls. I hear you. I know that was one of the issues that I always have and that we've been trying to fix. It turns up drama and shortens combat because, yeah, if you have people constantly missing, like, you want them to miss for narrative reasons. And if they're just constantly rolling badly, yeah, that does suck. There are mechanics in certain classes and monsters that depend on what level the escalation die is at, too. Disengaging, special cases, intercepting, targeting. Okay, what is fight in spirit? I saw that. Okay, fight in spirit. This is a special combat action that represents not what your character is doing right at this moment, but rather how your character has helped or inspired party members. You take this action when you are out of the fight altogether, which is rare. Perhaps your character is in another part of the dungeon or has been paralyzed. If your character can't do anything, then once around you can specify how your character is still there fighting in spirit alongside the other party members. It sucks to have to sit and watch a fight that you can't be part of, and that's what this rule is for. To earn this bonus, however, you have to come up with some story about what your character has done that could boost party morale. For example, an unconscious barbarian might say, the fighter has watched me rage during all these fights, and now, with me down, he feels a bit of my rage coming on. He gets +1 on his attacks. +2 to a stat the first time each battle, +1 thereafter. In general, you should expect to be able to talk to your GM. You should be able to expect to talk your GM into giving an ally a +1 bonus to attacks, armor class, physical damage, or physical defense or mental defense. The first time each battle that someone fights in spirit is special, so it can be a +2 bonus. The bonus lasts 1 or 2 rounds. If the fight is still on and you have something else to add to your story, sell it to the GM. Obviously, it's more interesting if you make up new stories. So if you keep trying to use the same story but aren't following the spirit of this rule, you aren't following the spirit of this rule and don't provide a bonus. Out for the duration. If you're making death saves to recover, or you're stunned for 1 round, or you have to save to recover from an effect, you can't fight in spirit. It's for players who would otherwise be ready. It's for players who would otherwise really be shut out of the fight. I see fumbles here. Rolling a natural 1 has no effect on the target, not even miss damage if you're using an attack that deals damage on a miss. At the GM's discretion, rolling 1 while in a precarious position might entail some other bad result. So we do have damage on a miss. Now that's okay. We have crits down here too. Let's go to crits first. Every attack roll is a natural 20 is a crit for double damage. It's a simple rule and enough damage to be frightening. Crit effects. Standard crits deal double damage. At the GM's discretion, rolling a 20 while you have some major advantage over an opponent, such as a clean shot at the villain's magic pendant, might entail some additional superior result, such as shooting off the pendant off the chest. If you get lucky and manage to double your crit damage, triple it instead. You might manage to double your triple damage, bump it up to quadruple, and so forth. We recommend doubling damage to speed play, but if you and your players love rolling lots of dice, feel free to roll double damage instead. Okay, so damage on a miss. Yeah, here Stray says, drinking cultist coffee escalates things quickly. So damage on a miss. Many attacks specify what happens on a miss. If nothing is noted, then misses deal no damage. The characters are some of the most exceptional and talented people around, and they rarely launch an attack to no effect. So this is also a good way to move combat along. So I understand. So I see what's going on here. So some character attacks deal a small amount of damage on a miss, often equivalent to the attacker's level. This damage might represent minor wounds, but could also represent the opponent becoming distracted or off balance. If the attack deals damage of a certain type when it hits, the damage dealt with the miss is of the same type. Most monsters deal no damage on a miss. Watch out for the ones that do. Two-weapon fighting. Okay, what was this recoveries? Okay, so we're kind of in the meat of it here. So recoveries. Each PC normally starts the adventure with 8 or 9 recoveries, a stat that represents the PC's ability to heal or bounce back from damage. Many healing spells and healing potions require you to use up one of your recoveries. So does using a standard action to rally in battle. A few powerful true healing spells heal without requiring the use of a recovery. The basic mechanic when you're using a recovery is always the same. You regain lost hit points by rolling recovery dice equal to your level and adding your constitution modifier. Your class indicates which recovery die you will use. So this is class-based by level plus constitution modifier. And it says it's like drinking a healing potion allows you to do that. So drink the healing potion, use one of your recoveries. So it's not just that you have it physically, but you also have to have the mechanic of the recovery. And it sounds like the healing potion is actually going to it's solving the problem of, hey, this is a major healing potion or whatever, depending on your level, by just making it level dependent. At 5th level, you double the bonus you get from your con modifier. At 8th level, triple it. For example, a 5th level barbarian with a constitution of 14, con modifier +2, has been cut up pretty badly. She uses a standard action during the battle to heal, rolling 5d10 and adding double her con modifier. In this case, 5d10 plus 4. It says no recoveries left. In the corner case where you're supposed to use a recovery to heal and you have none left, you get half the healing you should get and take a -1 penalty to all defenses and attack rolls until you're fully healed up. At half hit points or less, you're staggered. There aren't many special rules that always apply when you're staggered, but there are a number of monsters that prey upon those who are staggered. Monsters can become staggered too. Unconscious, death, and dying. Down at 0 hit points. Dead at -half. Dead at -half. Keep track of how far below 0 you go. You also die when you reach negative hit points equal to your maximum hit point total. Healing when you're down. If you're able to use one of your recoveries or otherwise get healed, while you're dying. Ignore your current hit points. Start from 0 and add the points you've regained. At the start of your turn, roll a death save on a d20 if you're down. Death saves are hard saves, which I guess that's the DC, so 16 plus. If you roll 16 plus, use a recovery to return to consciousness and heal up the number of hit points you rolled with your recovery. Tell everyone what form of courage, willpower, stubbornness, or quest brought you back from the brink. If you roll 15 or less, you take 1 step toward the grave. After the 4th failed save in a single battle, you die. If you roll a natural 20, you get to take actions normally that turn after telling everyone who inspired or caused your heroic return. Says healing potions are great. Feeding a dying character a healing potion always takes a standard action. Will always let the down character use a recovery and get them on their feet. But the character feeding the potion doesn't have any chance of rolling high or getting away with only burning a quick action on their turn. We have an optional rule for lasting wounds. Optional meaningful death rule. Jonathan doesn't allow PCs to just die fighting nameless monsters. In fact, he likes the rule from 7th C. The PCs can only be slain by named villains. The bright side is that PCs who fail 4 death checks in this game don't die. They just fall into a coma and can't be brought back to consciousness during combat, only once they're fully out of danger. The dark side is that Jonathan's nameless NPCs are more than willing to take unconscious PCs to named villains for a proper ritual sacrifice. Trey says, oh, question, are we looking at 13th Age 1E or did they release the newer one? I have not kept up with the Kickstarters. Well, actually, I don't know. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, we have a 7th C reference in here. I don't actually know what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm guessing first. Sable might know. I didn't see like when I was going by, I didn't see like a edition on it. Says combat modifiers. In general, if you can do without a modifier, you should. It's more important that combat proceed quickly around the table than to proceed accurately according to mechanical correspondence with the imagined fantasy world. The universal combat modifier is +2 when you have advantageous circumstances. You can often talk your way into a +2 bonus, but good luck getting anything better than that. The bonus should relate to something special, a circumstance of the battlefield, not just something abstract or generic, such as flanking. -2 is our penalty. Shooting into melee, invisibility, coup de grace. It's easier to take out a helpless enemy. Situational weapon use. We do have an example of combat. We've been going for a while here, so I don't think we have time to go through the example of combat. Oh, that's a pretty long example here. Oh, that's the end anyway. So we get into running the game in chapter 6. Okay, well, I mean, that's interesting. Okay, so I'm glad we did take a look at this. I see some of the things that we've talked about and that you guys have referenced in the comments in other streams now that had come from this. Sable says this, find out. Oh, no. So, okay. So Sable says 2nd edition is available for pre-order. So this is definitely 1st edition. Okay. So that's it. I know the Kickstarter for this one is out on Drive-Thru RPG, but lost track if it was out yet. Okay. So there's going to be a 2nd edition. All right. Well, I have got to get out of here. Thank you. And I'm sorry I was so late, but I'm going to, clean house, but then also work on this Kickstarter. Maybe I'll be able to order some prints. So we will see of these books so we can move them along. So I am out of here. Have a wonderful day. Actually, Trey says, looking at Nimble, I have not gotten that yet because I didn't get in on the Kickstarter or whatever, but I know that Sable's got that one too. And I also really want to look at Nimble. So yes, that one is one of the ones that I do really want. I need to look at like, how do I get that? Can I buy that one now? I'm not sure. But yes, I do actually really want to look at that one. So that one is on the list to look at. All right. I am out of here for now. see everybody later. I will be in touch. Bye.